watching Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing go meet your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy, yeah, watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing go meet your football need. Your football need. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. Sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. Your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of your Footy Fantasy podcast. Today is another Sunday, and some people did not go to church today because they decided to make my day sad. But we'll move. With me today is Toby, Arsenal boy. You can see his Jesse, and Idris from the other side of London. They're still fighting for whether London is blue or red, and who is the pride of London.
No. We are the real landlord. We are the real landlord. Toby's they're just renting.
But I thought it was Chelsea that they used to call the rent boys.
They're the rent
boys. We are the rent boys. I'm just we are actually Fulham or something like that. I actually had to like.
So. All right. This is your Footy Fantasy podcast on YouTube. We are at Footy Fantasy. Same thing with Instagram and Facebook. We are on Twitter, however, as at Footy AD Fantasy. That's the only place is different. So please like, share, subscribe, and do leave comments. Your comments will be picked up live as you leave them, and we will, put up your comments on the show. So let's dive straight in. Let's not waste any time. We're going into the big game of this weekend, Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Arsenal were hosting Aston Villa, and the Gunners, I don't know if we'll say with the loss, they dropped 2 points there, or did they save a point? Or was it a Hartford 1.1, or was it 2 points dropped? I'll start with you, Toby. What do you think?
I think the way the game went, obviously, is 2 points dropped since we scored 2 goals. I had at least 2 decent chances to win it at the end. Hit the post once, So I think if you look at how the game progressed, I think Arsenal feel the hard done by because they went 2 goals up and came away with a draw at home. But yeah, it can happen in football. I'm not going to overreact to it. It's again, if you don't put the ball in the net and the other team puts the ball in the net, you have to score to win. So I have a different perspective than maybe some other Arsenal fans. But it's still disappointing, right? Because I think Arsenal definitely played the better football. Arsenal definitely created more chances. But these problems are not new. And we don't yet have attacking side as prevalent as previous Arsenal sides in the past. So I can understand the frustration there, but it will come. I'm not too worried about it.
Okay. Is it harder because of that day you started 4 points behind Liverpool?
Yeah.
You started 4 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool were looking like they were going to draw.
Yeah, exactly.
And they won it in the last minute. If they had drawn that game, they would have been 5 points ahead of you. And if you won, you would have been 2 points. Like basically, it was looking like you could have been 2 points behind Liverpool. You ended up 6 points behind them. So does it make it harder for you to take?
I mean, I don't know if the players watch the games, think about it that way. For me, it has always catching Liverpool or catching City, where we're trying to catch this season, because we've never been top of the league this season, has always been hard for Arsenal to do, right? That's just my perspective. You don't lose your best attacker, Saka, for the season, effectively the season, and think your team is going to perform the same way. If I tell guys, look, if Henry was out in December when Arsenal went invincible, guess what? Arsenal does not go invincible. If Van Persie was injured when you guys last won the league, guess what? You don't win the league. Like, if Haaland was injured last season, half the season, City doesn't win it. But you can't blame a squad for saying, oh, you take out one key player and they never and they don't look the same, because that's how squads are built. You have certain star players that always deliver. I mean, take Salah out of Liverpool today. How many games has he won for them? So my point is, once he was injured for effectively the season, see if he does come back. I doubt if he does. I think if he does come back, he won't be the same, right? It's going to take a while because he's been gone for so long. So I already knew it was hard before. I already knew it was even going to be harder. So for me, I think the league is a long shot, even if we won today. The disappointing thing for Arsenal fans, I think, is, or the hard thing for Arsenal fans to take is the fact that why didn't this happen last season, right? Why didn't City have the year they're having last season? Because last season Arsenal trying to take advantage, right? We didn't have fitness issues. Saliba and Gabriel played every game. You know what I mean? Like, Odegaard was on form. I don't think he missed a single EPL game. And we were able to push City with 2 or 1 point behind them, right? To the last game. Now, I don't see Liverpool running away with the league the way, getting that 89, high 80s points this season. So I think that's the disappointing thing, is that this was an opportunity. But I mean, football is not always linear. And so I think it's just a question of adding the right signings, and maybe there's a lot of regret that the club didn't have the right signings in the summer to make Arsenal more resilient going forward. But that said, It is harder, but I'm not overreacting.
Yeah, but I have to come back to and say this, that I think first of all that you said Liverpool getting what's it called, 89 points will be hard. Liverpool are primed to get 90 points. The highest is that they're trending to 90.
They were on a 90-point pace first 20 games, and let's see how it continues. Well, no, because then they dropped. They literally had the same identical form Arsenal had before yesterday. Like, every time
they won yesterday, so they're still on point. They won yesterday.
No. I'm saying before yesterday, they had the identical record we had in December. Like, every time we dropped points in December, Liverpool dropped points. Like, we didn't gain on them. And so that's not the pace they set early on in the season when they were winning every single game. I mean, we'll see. I don't think they will get 90 points. If they do, it means they're probably going to win almost every other game. And they have some tough away games. So we'll see. I just don't think Arsenal is in the right health to capitalize on any potential Liverpool step up. That's my view.
If Arsenal is not the right point to capitalize on any potential Liverpool slip up, I think Liverpool have won the league. I mean, I think they've won the league. I just think that because everything has broken for them, it's going to take a lot of things not breaking for them, like the law going against them, because like yesterday they were supposed to draw, they won. When it's not the first time it's happened this season. They've had games where they should have lost, like even against Man United, they should have lost that game in the last minute, but they came out with a draw. And then every time they drop points, other teams don't capitalize. The gap has
the only time was last week. That was the first week where we gained points and they drew.
And then this week it flipped again.
When
Chelsea came close to them, once Chelsea got within touching distance of Liverpool, Chelsea just went down. And then, so it's been like, if you look at the table behind Liverpool, it's where the turmoil has been. Liverpool has just been coasting up there. It's been Man City, then Man City dropped out. Arsenal went down, and Arsenal came up. Chelsea went down, and then now we have then we have what's their name? Nottingham Forest. And I don't think, to be honest, if Arsenal are not the one they're going to push Liverpool, it's not Forest, because
it's not.
It's definitely not Newcastle, because Newcastle are the other team. They're the other Jekyll and Hyde team in that top six.
Well, so my view of it is, it's hard. It's hard to be. It's very, very hard in today's game to play your best every game. So I mean, we know this in EPL. There are always going to be surprises. So me seeing Newcastle lose a game 4-1, right? It's not surprising because I knew that they had basically said, look, Eddie Howe needs a trophy. So FA Cup, I knew you're going to see the real Newcastle. They're going to try their best. That was their season finale, right? But you can't do it. Arsenal plays 8 games in January. So you play Sunday, Wednesday, FA Cup, Carling Cup. Then we have a game on Wednesday, then the weekend again, right? So, and most teams, even if you're not in Europe, have a similar schedule because of the compressed league calendar this year. So you know that it's very, very difficult. You have injuries, you have suspensions, players will not be on form. It's going to be tough. And that's where, so for me, a team like Newcastle, I think if they get up there, they're going to be trying to finish top 4 or at least get back to Europe and win a cup. That's their priority.
Okay, fair enough. I just find it very, very funny, though, very ironic that this seems to be a running trend with Arsenal for a long time. And I'm not trying to raise up ghosts, but why not? I mean, it's always happy to laugh at Arsenal, but it's always good to laugh at Arsenal. But when the chance presents itself when other teams have a down year and Arsenal are having a good year, they're not good enough. Leicester, remember Spurs and Arsenal should have won that title. They were the ones that should have taken it. They let Leicester do it. Arsenal were very good last year, but Man City were just too good. And this year, every other person is down, and Arsenal is supposed to step up. And then Liverpool, which, with all due respect, were coming into this season not the team anyone was expecting to be the pace sitters, and now sitting comfortably at the top, and Arsenal are now chasing there. It's like Arsenal likes to be the bridesmaid. Let's put it like that.
I mean, are we trolling or are we having a reasonable debate?
No, but this is a reasonable question. I mean, there's some trolling inside it.
But yeah, I know there's some trolling inside. Okay, but let's have a reasonable. I mean, we can always troll, and I love trolling, right? So I won't back away from trolling. But what I'll say is this: as an Arsenal fan, I am not the one to be. I was Arteta out before everyone. Let's just establish that. Like when we were 15th, I was like, this guy needs to go because I know the team is better, and that's the argument I kept making to everybody. I'm like, these players are way better than 15th, so stop making excuses. That's the players. Okay, cool. And I make the same argument today. I will say the squad is still very, very good. However, it lacks obvious additions. And the squad's age and profile is still very, very good. These guys are 23, 24, 25, 19. So I look at it as people say, oh, this is Arsenal's best chance of winning. It's a lie. This season is not our best chance of winning. Not with Saka injured. Not with Jesus is injured for the whole season, right? Not with Ben White has had surgery. Odegaard was missing for 8 weeks when people were saying Arsenal can't score a goal other than corners. Well, our most creative player was injured. Merino was signed, broke his collarbone the first week. He's just getting up to speed, and I think it's fine, but whatever. But the point is, everyone will look at Arsenal squad. You guys can look at Arsenal squad, and you can already see what's missing to compete. And what's missing is the front three, right? And Arteta has only bought one attacker in his whole time, one striker. That was Gabriel Jesus. Everybody else person he's bought has been a midfielder or back. And I think other than Trossard, I think Trossard is the other signing, right? But in terms of real investment, it's less than 50 million. Trossard was what, 17 or so? Jesus was 35, right? He's built the team from the back. So everybody knows Arsenal needs a striker. Arsenal needs a left winger. Arsenal needs a right winger to help Saka out. Till you get those pieces in, why is everyone saying this is the best chance for Arsenal to win when the squad is not complete? The squad is clearly not complete. I see it. You guys watch your own teams. You know your teams very well. I know the squad is not complete. And it's like, okay, let the squad be complete. Then you can say, you've given your coach the best chance to win the league. City lost Alvarez, right? And you can see how they're struggling. Only Haaland, and they wrap him up. And then Rodri's out. So for me, football is never linear. The same Liverpool team that finishes 90-something points and didn't win it that year, City went nuclear, got like 7-8 points the next season. The same players. But you can't panic and say, oh, let's go sell all those players and rebuild everything or fire the manager. I'm like, be reasonable. The club made a mistake. My last point. This is why I would say maybe we want to talk about Arsenal fans calling for Arteta out, whatever. Some people can call for it, and I get why they feel that way. I understand the frustration because it was clear, at least for 2 seasons, that we need to strengthen the attack. And for whatever reason, this summer, the club did not do it. They went for resiliency. They got Calafiori because if Gabriel Saliba gets injured, we were exposed like we found out 2 seasons ago. Then they went for Merino because I'm not saying these are the official reasons. My rationale is we didn't know Partey would play this well, right? And Partey played so few minutes last season, always injured. So they went for Merino as a longer term replacement. And last minute, they loaned Sterling, which was a dud. Completely unnecessary. So all Arsenal fans went to this season disappointed that we didn't sign an attacker. There's no Arsenal fan that went to this season thinking this is the year we overtake City because we looked at the squad and we're like, nah, it's not ready yet. So this is Arsenal are where they're supposed to be. And other than today, I think we're the same points we were at last season.
Okay.
I mean, you want to say they're second, but this time last season, Arsenal was 3rd or 4th with the exact same number of points.
Okay, so let me put some context to this because last season, sometimes when we do the points, they have this amount of points this season, they have this amount of points last season. Like some people like to point out, if you had the points teams were getting today, if they had it in the 90s and early 2000s, more teams would be competing for the top 4, or more teams would be in the top 4 because these days people are getting 78 points and then the top 4, whereas 78 points was winning the league, 76 points was winning the league in the 90s. So it's not about comparing this season to last season. You have to also take this season. Instead, they would go and say, okay, let's do historic champions. Let's do the
cumulative points from the last after 20 games last season. No, all I'm saying is 2 things. After 20 games last season, Arsenal had X points. After 20 games this season, Arsenal had the exact same points. What saved Arsenal last season was the run from January, where the next 18 games or so, Arsenal only lost 1 and drew 1, I think.
Yes, but that
was the run. So hold on. And what happened with that run? Let's be clear. There was a winter break. These guys went to Dubai. They rested, came back fresh. I think Liverpool did not necessarily have the chance of a winter break. And then they went on a run, right? They had fitness. They went on a run. I don't see that happening this year because I don't see fitness. I see actually more injuries. And we've lost 2 attackers and there's no one else coming in.
So let me contextualize this thing for you because you're not getting this context. There's this context that where people that are calling, I mean, Idris, you can also come in if you want to, where people are going, okay, look, a lot of things you've mentioned, they're valid reasons. I wouldn't call them excuses. But there's a problem here that people will go, maybe this is the experience of Arteta showing. Because, and maybe the owners also made a big mistake. Because one is, from the outside, if you ask me, I would have gone, you strengthen a team. Because the Arsenal team balled out last season. They balled out. Most of Arsenal players, even though you say they're still growing, many of them are playing at the peak of their football. If they're not playing at the peak of their football, then they are overplaying. They're playing far better. They're playing above their norm. So which means they would regress. So if all these players, like all these youngsters you mentioned in the team are all playing at the peak of their football, that means there's another thing that also is going to happen is at a point they would regress. So you should always strengthen the squad. This was what some squad builders, for example, like Alex Ferguson was good at, where even though you said a star player that was still good in this position, he will go and buy his soul. Okay. Why he's so good? Now hold on. Let me just finish. I'm almost done. So another thing that you actually mentioned this was that Arsenal players were very fit. They had a smaller squad and they played a lot of these guys last season. Saka's injury it was a running prediction for years. People have been saying Saka is about to get injured because Saka played so many games. So to summarize what I'm trying to say is, one, it's Arsenal's fault or Arteta's fault that he did not have someone ready to relieve the load on Saka. Two, it's his fault and the club's fault that they're still struggling with a striker issue going 2-3 seasons. You sold Nketiah yourself.
So
you were relying on a striker that is always injured. So can you complain that you don't have a striker?
I'm not complaining. You're asking me. I'm not complaining. Mm-hmm. I am saying the squad in itself is fine. They did not make the additions they needed to. It's a project. Until you make those additions, the club is fine to me. I'm not the fan that says Arteta must win it this year. Just be rational. Which striker did anybody buy last summer? It's a fair argument. The first thing Arsenal did last summer was go for Sesko, and I'm not defending them here because I think they could have done other things. Let me lay that out. The first signing Arsenal went before the Euros was Benjamin Sesko put in a bid. What did Sesko say? I'm considering my options. No, I'm not convinced I would displace Havertz. My management team has told me for my development, it's best I stay one more year. And Arsenal had said, can you make a decision before the Euros so we can pivot? And he came out and he said, I'm not going anywhere for the Euros. And I'm going to stay at Leipzig or wherever it is for the season, right? What should Arsenal have done then? They should have gone to get an alternative. Whether that's Arteta's fault, whether that is the club's fault, whether that is PSR, because we came £50 million under PSR. No one knows. But the fact that they could pay Sesko, right, meant they could have gone to get someone else. They didn't. It was a shame. And every Arsenal fan that I talked to was mad that Arsenal didn't go get another striker. But am I going to sit here and say that kind of decision is just a manager's decision? Like, literally, think about it. You're the manager of a club. You want to win. You are feeling the pressure. You say, I want that striker. He's not there. Then you say, you know what? Don't get me any other striker. Like, come on. Like, yes, Arsenal, whether it's Arteta, I don't know, Edu, Kroenke, nobody knows. Arsenal failed in the summer from getting a striker. But it wasn't just a striker that was a problem. We needed a winger as well, and we knew it. We didn't get a winger. We ended up getting useless Sterling, even though we're not really paying him. But it ended up being more or less useless. And that was the last minute. So every Arsenal player was, and when Sterling came in, people were like, okay, he can take minutes for Saka. He should talk after because they don't say anything. When Arteta was not playing,
I'm not saying anything. I don't talk bad about my exes. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's not a problem, bro.
but hold on. When Arteta was not playing Sterling, people were like, Arteta doesn't like to rotate. Now that Saka is injured, you're seeing the Sterling, and everyone's like, the guy can't do anything for whatever reason. So it's like the mistake was made in the summer. Whoever made it, Arteta, I'm sure, has a share of blame. It's clear. But that's no reason, and no club gets every transfer window 100% right. That's be fair. You guys got Holland and Rasmus. You think you guys were not looking at other strikers that were better than or did any United fan feel these two are was really going to compete with the EPL?
We had a manager called Ten Hag.
No, but
he was the one making all those decisions.
Yeah, but you as fans didn't think that these guys, they were development players. They weren't. If you are trying to win the league, none of them is winning you the league. You knew that, right? But you're like, at least let's see if they can grow and be something. Chelsea got Jackson. Jackson is the same development player, blah, 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 out there. And there's money there.
But the only two clubs you're mentioning are not at the same stage
but they had,
as Arsenal.
It's not about being at the same stage. Here's what I will say. Here's what I'll tell you. The last thing I'll say is I accept the club, and I said this in the summer. The mess up was in the summer. We didn't get a striker. We didn't get I wanted 3 players. They got 2 of the 3. I wanted a midfielder for Partey, but maybe more attacking minded. I wanted a right winger, and I wanted a striker. And I was like, Jesus, if his feet can share that left wing with Martinelli and Trossard, get me another right winger that can play with Saka, and get me a striker. And you'll be Havertz and this guy up front. That was my wish list. It didn't happen. A lot of Arsenal fans had similar wishes. Even pundits said the word on the street was Arsenal didn't get a striker. They didn't get one for whatever reason. Blame the manager, blame the coach, blame Edu. They failed. Now, what I would say not in their defense, it would only be in their defense if what happens in the future. What I would say is when you built a project this well, and I'm not boasting, but a lot of the players that have come in, I'm not trying to get rid of them. The players on long-term contracts, I like Saliba, I like Gabriel, I like Ben White, I like Timber, I like Odegaard, I like Saka, I like Martinelli. The ones that are older, aging out, Jesus is on his way out, Partey is on his last year. The players that we don't really want to keep, there's no real guy that is just draining wages and you're just like, this is the wrong signing. And when you're building a project, usually the last pieces are the hardest pieces. Remember before you guys came to take RVP from Arsenal, how you guys struggled, and you knew that was what was the missing piece. That was what was the missing piece for United to win the league.
Dude, before we took RVP, we were in the Champions League final 3 times out of 4 years.
Wait, hold on. Did you win the league the prior season?
We won.
Wait, hold on. My point is
3 of the previous 4 years.
Did you win the league before RVP?
Just 1 season missing.
Why didn't you win the league that year?
But that's because my point is so lacked goals, and we
exactly
what we needed. That was the
exactly. So that's what I'm telling you. When you know exactly what you need to finish a project, you can't go and get a Xerxes because it won't help us. No, if we had signed a Xerxes or Højlund on 8 years just because they were a striker and they're scoring 4 goals, it doesn't help anybody, and you can't get rid of them. Like you guys will find out, it's not easy to get. Like you're already finding out with Anthony and all these guys, even Rashford. You're not going to get rid of them easily. So my point is that number 1 striker they should have gotten. If I were the club, I would have gone all out last summer for like a Gyökeres. I would have gone all out once Sesko said he wasn't coming. I would have even gotten Osimhen on loan. I would have done something different from there's criticism to be made. I would have done something than leave the manager with a obvious hole in the squad coming into this season.
Because the irony of this stuff is even for Man United or any club that is looking for a striker now, and even Chelsea, Osimhen is on loan at Besiktas. He would have
Galatasaray.
Okay. Yeah. He would have grabbed
it's the best manager you've had since Mourinho that's at Besiktas. The person you guys dragged.
Oh yeah.
The company man that kept you guys on.
The
guy that was overachieving. And I want people. Can I chime in here? Sorry.
Yeah, this is good.
You know, when and this is just a side swipe at United. When Ola was overachieving, people insulted that guy. The company man doesn't know what he's doing, babyface, Fine. Mourinho had said something before Oli. Mourinho said, me coming second is the greatest achievement of his pipes. Everybody made fun. As a Chelsea fan, we know Mourinho is toxic. We are a toxic club. We understand our own environment and company culture. We are okay with it. You understand? We are not for everybody. We're an acquired taste. But we know ourselves. But when we heard him say it, and some of us are like, you guys should take this thing seriously. Because this guy knows what he's talking about and what he's doing. He might just be a very difficult person to work with. Right? Yeah. But he knows what he's saying. Ole came in, paper over the cracks. Then obviously, you guys have to go and get PhD. All these PhD people that talk about economics, but they've never ever run a company before.
But that guy still told them what was up.
He was, he told them what was up. He brought rubbish in.
What was
he brought rubbish in? Ten Hag.
No, not Ten Hag. The guy
after Ole.
Yeah,
Ragnick.
No, Ragnick. I'm sorry, it was right. Yeah,
Ragnick told them what the problem was.
You're actually right. It was Ekwe Mourinho. They got rid of him. He's not a company man. They now brought company man inside. And then it's the company man mentality has dominated football. And that's like me shooting at United. That brings me back to Arsenal or Chelsea or where we are at today in the footballing world. Let's be honest. What Slot is doing Liverpool.
Hold on. We'll finish Arsenal. We just have 2 more minutes on Arsenal. Then we'll
you finished Arsenal.
Do not digress to Chelsea yet. You have time. You will have.
I'm not digressing to Chelsea. I'm still talking about Arsenal. My thought process is about the conversation you guys are having regarding if Arsenal was actually the real title contender to Liverpool, and I think yes, to an extent. But also, I take from the points that you guys are making, and one of the stuff that Toby has mentioned that it's very, very that we should be honest about that he's saying is it's not like he said the team is bad. He never said that. He just said there's a saying in Yoruba, Okudekato. Like it's kind of like we know it just remains small, made that Maggi, made the soup sweet. Like we know there's something missing here. We are aware something is missing in the ingredients, but we chose to do nothing about it. Right? That's an Arsenal situation. And it's plagued them not just last season, right? I know you were saying if we compared data of the same teams over years, then it's easy to say if somebody was 78 points in 2000, they could have won the leagues and stuff. I get where you're coming from. But year in, year out in the last 3 years is a good way to look at a project or a team or finances or some form of data. Like three years, let's give 3 years, 3 to 5 years, depending on what you're looking for, mid-term, short-term, long-term.
Especially like, under the same manager.
Exactly. So looking at Arsenal, sorry, you're going to say
and those 3 years, show me the points, show me the growth.
Show me the points, yeah. So
and the points have gone up every single season.
Exactly. So
and not just the points, not just the points, just to add quickly, everything has improved. Arsenal got to the semi-final of the Champions League last season. They're very good in Champions League.
There's been some improvement, but you also said something. They have players that were developmental players that are now supposedly the senior boys now. They are no more in their sophomore year or whatever. Yes, and you said at some point they will regress, which is kind of what he's saying too, that like, since we know this is a natural phenom, we should be putting people in place that challenge or help them so that when a Saka gets injured, the drop-off of productivity is not so drastic that you can actually see a team struggling to get to or perform at the same output. Like Chelsea, we've had the situation, N'Golo Kante situation, when we were going through our change of ownership, change of managers and stuff like that. Nobody knew what to do with Kante's situation in the sense that like he gets injured, doesn't play all the full season, but nobody can say he wasn't one of the best players in that team, right?
Whenever he came back, it was world class.
Yeah, when he came back, the team just seemed to rear with it. And it's coming back always papered over the major cracks, which is I think what he's saying too at this point, which is once Kante leaves, just is playing, let's assume like we are we're having an output of 80%. Killing it, this is where we are. Kante gets injured. You just realize you're having some mid-table level displays. You understand? And it's because the guys that come in, or the formation we play, or the tactical approach to the game to accommodate whoever is supposed to come in, is just not good enough to meet that level that we've been doing before. So that tells you something. Once this entity gets out, there's a massive drop-off, in productivity. So what do? You start planning to mitigate that level of drop-off. You get, if for some bizarre reason, say Chelsea had Kante, somehow we got Caicedo. Back then, it wasn't in, Brighton. I could see us drop from an 80% to 75. It's not too far. Now, compare that scenario to Arsenal. If Saka goes down, you see the significant stress on the team.
You're dropping from Saka to a 17-year-old, but go.
But that's you're buttressing his point, which is
but that's football for you. That's what we have to find.
It is in general, but I'm just
Salah drops off. Which right winger can Liverpool sign?
They don't have any.
No. The reason why they don't have it is not because they would not like to have it, but you don't go and take a player that starts for his team, right? Wherever he is, take it and say, come and sit on the bench for Salah.
But you see, I disagree. I disagree.
No,
I disagree with that.
This is exactly why Sesko did not want to come because
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Because Chelsea, we have done all the Chelsea. We are the lab of all these mad experiments.
Yes,
right?
But how is that working out for you? But wait, hold on. Don't forget that you guys didn't have financial constraints because you started from zero debt. All your sins were forgiven, so you could go spend 1.7 billion in 2 years.
And now we spent it. We have spent it like crackheads.
Yes, so but you know that. My point is, a normal club doesn't get that reset where no debt, no liabilities. You can't. So you can't. A club cannot also afford to do that. It's harder. What you have
I know it's harder.
Exactly.
I know it's harder, but
we have different ways of playing when players are not. When your star man is not available.
I agree.
That's what you have to do. And you have a younger player, but you can't have you can't have two Sakas in the team. Is it possible?
You can. That's why if I can make the point, that's why I disagree a bit. Where I started with the company man narrative, directors and stuff. So I was taking notes here when you guys were talking. I said there's a concept of building a team nowadays, like which is very company approached, kind of like an organizational kind of thing. I'm going to work with Buchi, I'm going to work with Toby, then I'm going to work with Idris, and we're going to all like come with this committee bullshit and see how we can actually do it. Yeah. Fine. I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm beginning to see now is there's this thing where we say, okay, we can't get it now. We'll wait. And then we keep waiting, and then we keep waiting, and then we keep waiting. But we don't really have a solution. That's the issue where Arsenal is now. Because Arsenal's problem did not start last season.
I agree.
I believe Arsenal's problem started 3 to 4 years ago. Because even if you got that young player, if you got that young player that wasn't ripe, then when
by now he's ready.
Right there you go. He's a ready sub where you can rotate teams.
Yes, I know. But
you understand?
That's what your academy does for you. That's why now where is
but the academy is being used to balance books.
No.
So we have not.
Waneri came into the team and played in Saka's position and played very well. Then he got injured. Right? Hold on. So your academy can solve problems for you. We have a 18-year-old academy player that is holding left back position and investing. Your academy can save you money. So that's like 50 million saved that we can then go out and get.
Well, are you saying there's not a potential drop off also with academy players because they're really young?
There is, right? They've been
in the system. I get they've been in
the first team for like 3 years. It's a process.
Okay, fair enough. But
it's not an excuse. Arsenal should have gotten a striker and a winger last season.
Exactly.
No debate.
Where I was going with that was in teams nowadays, it's hard to find with long-term contracts, and a lot of teams being very smart now, trying to like maximize whatever they sell, like the Brightons, Brentfords. They're not just going to Villarreal. They're not going to let good players just go because they also know it takes a lot to get that kind of player to still maintain them in the level that they have to be. So the combination of a coach, technical director, and where the team is at is very key. For example, Chelsea has all this money with a very immature coach, in my own situation. And so it's immature. No matter the situation is, he came, he did fine. Swart, on the other hand, with Liverpool seems an interesting mix. But again, you guys just touched it. If what's his name goes down, Salah goes down. They are not getting this output and clinical level that they are getting right now, which now gives Arsenal the opportunity to level up.
Also every team. It's every top team. Like I said, my last point, if Henry had gone down the year we went invincible, we're not going invincible. That's what star players do for your team. If Palmer goes down,
okay. At this point, I'm going to round this up so that we can move on to Chelsea. I'll say something quickly. I want to round it up with Liverpool because people might think I'm saying this because I'm a Manchester United fan and so I'm a Liverpool hater. But I think Liverpool are just very, very, very lucky.
I think you need some luck, but I think they make some of their luck.
Yeah, they make some of their luck. But there are also some things that are just going for Liverpool.
Natural.
You're going.
Same thing happened with City last season.
Like think about it, right? All the players Liverpool have, with all due respect to their players, they have a good team, but they have a lot of average, what you wouldn't call superstar players all around the team. So that's almost why this man can come in.
They have a balance. No, they have a balance.
Hold on. Listen, they have a very balanced team, but it's not a team made up of so many superstars. That's why, for example, Shimikas can step out and Gramovich can come in, Elliott can come in, Bradley. Like, they have a lot of players that are not, the gap between the bench and the guys, some of the guys on the team is not that.
But you're answering, you're saying the same thing I'm saying. The drop off isn't significant in that machine.
That team is dependent on 3 players, especially 2 of them. The real superstars in that team, Alisson, Van Dijk, and Salah.
That's it.
Especially Salah and Van Dijk. But if you look at the drop-off in that defense when Van Dijk is out, it tells you that you realize how that those defenders are not really that good. But the key one is Salah. And for some reason, for the amount of games that guy plays,
I was going to say the same
thing. He never gets injured.
He plays more games than Saka played last season.
He plays more games than anybody.
The difference is he didn't go to Euros and run around on his hamstring, so he was resting.
He went to African Cup of Nations last season.
Yeah, but it was pipe. No, he was injured though.
Oh yeah, that's right. He got injured.
Yeah, he was injured in
During
African Cup of Nations. He didn't, they had an issue
He was
there where
resting, so he came to this.
he was
season
resting.
rest.
So,
But look at the
No,
whole
but
season.
guys, the way he plays too,
He rests in games.
and so exactly, they
does.
work. They know, how do I put it? This guy's a star guy. This guy's going to close the deal.
Yeah.
So the whole company and everybody makes sure that this guy is at that point where he can bring the deal home.
For
right?
me, he also exposes Trent a lot. Doesn't cover back for him. Doesn't help.
There
him out.
you go. Thank you.
Doesn't
That was where
help
I
him.
was going with that.
And
But because they
he's a
also
problem.
understand, it's a problem. They also understand that, so other guys help Trent. Van Dijk and all those other guys do a yeoman's job. Once the senior guy at the back leaves, which is Van Dijk, you could literally see Trent's as they say, Faunas just open, just right there. Damn, this guy is actually not good. Again, balanced team. They figure out what works for them. Saka is doing a lot. When I watch some of Arsenal's game, that kid is doing a lot. You understand? Like, he's tracking back, he's chasing, he's pressing. Salah is not doing that for anybody's father on the pitch. But let's be honest with that. And that's saving the guy's energy.
But
He's saving the guy's body.
Salah
You understand? No, he's a senior man. He's ended. It's like somebody telling Ronaldo to track back. Or telling Messi to track back. You understand? Like, track back to come and do what? Leave the guy there. Let them do the damage. Do you understand? So that's how that team is set up. And the guy that took over that team came into a very highly functional machine, which is
very functional machine.
And he did not rock the boat. The guy just here, just run them. And with luck, they're on top of the table. They will at some point, I believe, because he's a new manager, hit some reality check. It will happen.
It's not coming before next season.
We don't know. It might be. It might not be.
Nah. Liverpool are winning the league. Where they might get a reality check is the Champions League.
How many injuries have they had? How many injuries have they had? They haven't. Arsenal is bleeding with injuries right now.
Yeah, unless they start dropping like a pack of cards, Salah, Van Dijk.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We're only how many games in right now? I think we're about like
21 or so. Or 20.
So
take no time, man.
I don't want to wish anybody injury, but it's just like
But I don't think it's about injury. Even look at their contract situation, right? All those three players, two of those three players, Van Dijk and Salah, haven't signed new contracts.
Because they want the 400, 500k salary. The other people are getting.
And you know what that would do to inflation of, if I was Liverpool, I keep one of them. I know which one I'm keeping. I'm keeping Van Dijk or I'm keeping Salah. But I'm not keeping Trent. You can sell Trent.
It's obvious that Trent is leaving. I think he's gone.
A right back will be your problem. Like, you can go to Brighton. So many teams can go to them and say, I'm taking your right back. You're playing Champions League. You're fighting for the league. Where Liverpool, shut up. Here's 40 million. Here's 100k a week. Done.
Okay, let's take comments quickly. A few comments. First comment, someone said, please don't discuss United today. Thanks.
Why won't we?
There's no need. There will be no need. I'm the moderator today. I didn't come here for headache.
Wow, this is great.
We're not talking United today. No. Ayo says, oh, sorry, let me go back to that comment. That was from Okechukwu Izukama. Then Ayo says, I hail the able gentleman. Ayo's about to release another comment. I think that comment is loaded. Ebukani says, my second time here. Let's go. Thanks, man. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Soji says, Toby, how you see him?
I love how I see it. And let me tell you exactly what I just saw. I just saw Amorim describe United as the worst team in history. That's what the coach said about the team.
That's because he must have just been shocked at the lack of brain in that team.
Look. We're not talking Man United.
Yeah, but it's Man United.
We're just taking comments. We're just taking comments.
Yeah,
I'll mute you guys. Last warning. Then Soji drops a running emoji. Oga Kwame comes in with
Arsenal is like 1993 that soon.
You fix the carburetor today, and the fuel pump will go out tomorrow.
No, but
let's talk about
United. Do not compare Arsenal to Manchester United. Don't take the bait, please.
No, also you don't want the smoke. Okay, let's ignore Soji.
I was talking to one of my Arsenal friends, and I remember when Arsenal like slipped to third, and when Chelsea was like in second, and then you guys dropped the bit and came back, and I told him, dude, it's just 3 games different. Like, I don't know why. I mean, Arsenal's expectations were high, they were upset, and I get where they were upset and they were pretty high. And I said, he mentioned Gabriel Jesus, they mentioned their forward lines. In my opinion, the only thing missing in that entire soup Arsenal is supposed to be cooking is honestly they're at the point they need to go all out.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's no let's see how it's going. Like at this point, you have done a good job to get to this point. Any player that has been in that club for 3 to 4 years, they should be under evaluation. If they are not able to step up or out. We already know we have that boys.
And I'll add something to what you're saying, Idris, quickly. Just these guys on AFTV, most of them are guys that have been caught right after the game. They're coming out
they're heated, they're upset.
They're heated. There's a mic in front of them, and then they're saying all these things. When they go home and settle down, they will say something else. Because from outside looking in, especially as a Manchester United fan, and I'm even sure as a Chelsea fan, Idris will agree. I'd rather be where Arsenal is. This is the truth. It's very hard to admit. It hurts to admit, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And if Arsenal fires Arteta, watch him go to Real Madrid. Real Madrid is looking for somebody to replace Ancelotti because Ancelotti.
They already have an intern coach. They just have to go and beg him. They are just they have
Xabi Alonso.
No, they have 3 coaches in lineup. They have Xavi and they have Zidane. They have to go and beg Zidane if Xavi is not ready. They have company succession plan there. Arsenal does not have a succession plan.
This guy will leave Arsenal and go to a club that will open up the books, give him a more balanced team. So what Arsenal needs to do, in my opinion, is go out, open that wallet, spend, mortgage your future a little bit for now.
I don't disagree. I think you're right.
And then you can move on to that. But
we need to break this PSR law.
Let's quickly digress to Chelsea because
you need to break what?
No, I said we need to violate PSR. Cook our books.
Come on, go for it and pay the fine later.
For 200 million.
Yeah, go for it and pay the fine later.
EPL for the next 10 years. Let them be fighting. Then we'll take 4 points deduction in 2029.
Exactly. That's it. Go for it. Man.
I mean, wait. Kroenke owns Walmart. Do internal.
It's not money.
No.
It's like
it's not money.
Do internal.
That we don't have money to
deal with Walmart. Walmart sponsors Arsenal with fake sponsorship. Get 300 points.
$1 billion.
You know that they'll give you 300 points or charges against you, but by the time they do the case, you already won 7 in a row.
At least we'll have Premier League and maybe Champions League. We'll say everyone's happy. We'll move on.
Okay, Idris, this one is for you now. I know we won't waste time on this one, but what's up with Chelsea? Because one of my friends put it this way, that immediately Chelsea got close to Liverpool, Maresca came out and said, we're not in the title race, we're not in the title race, we're not in the title race. And his words came to pass. That, that's how they said, speak positive.
We're not.
But the player said we're not in the title race, you guys fell out. Because you guys haven't won the game. I think you've only won one game in 8.
So let me blow your mind. We hadn't even won more than 3 games in a stretch. I don't think people are seeing, people just got so excited about Chelsea spent all this money. Chelsea sells well too. Again, that's another thing we're very good at. And Chelsea pads the book well. Like we see, we are a club built on toxicity. We know what we are. We have accepted what we are. Do you understand? But when people see from outside, you're looking from organizational structure, old boys club, like, United, country club, Arsenal, corporate, Liverpool, corporate. Chelsea's a frat house. That's what we are. That's how you compare Chelsea. We will get it done at some point in time. Chelsea's team is very young. Absolutely no experience. Chelsea's owners are very young when it comes to this part of their investment. No experience. Our coach is extremely young, no experience. So you do inexperienced things, stumble your way into the fine babe's presence because you're drunk, and then sometimes the babe will walk away like this guy don't get sense. That's where we are. So when we stumbled our way to second, everybody said we are in a title race. I know we're not in a title race. Any drunk person can look at the situation and say we are not in the title race. But it would be nice if this boy gets laid. But we're not in the title race. Do you know, at the end of the day, it's nothing for us because there's no indication that we could sustain the run that we were on. There was nothing. Is it Jackson, who's a 15 goal a season scorer, but he's still a development player, which you can see. You know what I mean? He's good. Hey, he's good. But he's not the guy that's going to win you. Jackson is to us what Solomon Kalou was, what Nicolas Anelka was. We've seen these players before. We like them. But they're not the guys. When we're down in Munich, we get a goal. He's not a Didier. He's not a Lampard. He's not a John Terry. We know what those guys are built of.
Why are you always going to
I'm not dissing him. It's not a diss. I'm not dissing him. Do you understand? Because when Mikel Obi said this, a lot of people went and trashed Miguel. I had personal issues with people trashing Mikel because I grew up in Jos with Mikel. Like, I always have some love for my J-Town people. But what he was saying was true. He's lived. Mikel is like Hercules. He walked with gods and he walked with big players back in the day. When small boys start talking, Mikel should shut up. I'm like, Jackson, when you start, you haven't hit puberty in your career and you're talking like this. And I knew there was a problem with this guy. So, and at the end of the day, he's showing it. The pressure is on him. And it's not his fault. Don't get me wrong. He is good enough for what he needs to do. We got rid of Silva, 39-year-old man. There's a saying, I'm sure you've heard this too. Abinibi Oyatos ability. There's a level some people have. It's God-given. You cannot train it. I don't care what anybody does. When you see Thiago Silva in the back and the likes of Van Dijk, the Rolls Royce of defending, there's a level of thought that it's aura, steez, as young people say. It's different. When you put a young person there who doesn't have that level of talent and experience, you see the chaos happening. It's not like they're bad, but you can see them struggle. You get Chelsea has all that problem at the back right now. What did we do for financial balancing the book? We got rid of players, Silva, then we got rid of Chalobah for no reason. And then we brought
Silva
in
is also old, but go ahead.
Who?
Silva was old. Silva is almost.
Well, he organizes the defense and the transition much better.
Bros, if Silva was in this Chelsea team,
if Silva was in this team right now,
if Saka or Salah catches him once, automatic brain injury.
I'm not disputing with that. Catches.
Automatic.
No, but Bucci catches. I agree. But how many times? He's not putting himself in that situation.
But
do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Is your point that the squad is just young and you went for young players by design?
The entire machine is very young.
Yeah,
it's very young. So there's nothing wrong.
The expectation was not that you win the league. The expectation was that you will grow with these players, at least this season. Did you come to this season thinking Chelsea will win the league?
No, absolutely not. I actually predicted them to be sixth. Go and look at all the videos I've been predicting. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. We are fifth right now. And we shall drop are we sixth or fifth? Hold up. Let me just check my thing.
You're fifth.
No, we are sixth. Yes, we are sixth. We are right at our bet right. What I expected was
overtaking you guys. Oh no.
We are sixth.
Overtook you guys. That's right.
Yeah, we are sixth. Now here's the scary thing many people are not realizing.
Oh, yeah, tell me.
It's feet drop. Because if you go and look at the table right now, from Brighton, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest, whether you like it or not, right? They all have senior managers, right? These five clubs are also mentioned. Aside Brighton Brighton has a young manager, but Brighton that plays open football. 4 of them that I just mentioned, we died there on the pitch. Toby said something about Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are not going to contend. Baba, calm down. The guy that is there is not going there to do tiki-taka. The guy that is there just wants to win. He has never had an open checkbook in his life. Nottingham Forest have the money for him, and they will buy whatever they need to buy to maintain where they are. I am worried. People are looking at Nottingham Forest like,
No, I'm not looking at. Yeah, right? I think they're a good team. I just don't think they're
a solid team, and they are going to shore up because they actually do spend, and they are the kind of ownership that will not mind dealing with the consequences after they spend, because they've been dealing with the consequences.
They brought their own in-house referee last season. Now remember,
exactly.
Their referee consultant,
they will spend.
Yeah,
you have to understand they've never had the blend and the click. Somehow Nuno has done that for them right now, and they will maintain top 6 for a minute. Which means that, like, good evening, will forever stifle his old club. The likes of...
We've already played them twice, we're done.
Exactly. The likes of Newcastle will always be there. Bournemouth, they're doing well.
They play well.
Look, I don't see how Chelsea maintains this because of how we've played. we were starting with young thought process of we'll outscore everybody, but then we find ourselves in a situation where once we can't outscore, like we've done it with Lampard, we've done it with Thomas Tuchel, we've done it with Potter. Once you can't outscore the person, what happens? We get caught on transition. Steady. Arsenal has gone through this thing before. Play fine ball, catch you on transition. Catch on. There's experience, and there's experience in players and experience in management. Something is wrong with the way the boys are set up when they are actually attacking. The manager has to game manage properly, but he also has to have the right personnel that are experienced enough to put themselves in the right position to cut it off. Thiago Silva is not chasing anybody from the midfield all the way down. Nope.
I think
he's not doing that.
I think you are looking at it from senior player. I don't believe in senior player. I believe in ability and talent. And when I mean senior players, what I'm trying to say is that a young Rio Ferdinand, a young Salah is better than an old Louis Dunk, better than, with all due respect, an old Anthony. Ability is ability. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's not necessarily about the age of the players, it's about how good they are. And there's a problem that you said
disagree.
Toxicity. The toxicity
I
Chelsea,
disagree. Experience on seeing out games and managing games.
But you comment on this. Experience is one thing, but what I'm trying to say here is there's also a problem with squad fit. Arsenal have, for example, been blessed with the fact that they've had one manager who's been able to mold the squad, and you can see this is why he's buying this player. He can see when the player comes in, the guy fits, whether he's a new buy or old, or he's been, but he can tell immediately this guy is not my guy, even if he just signed him, and he can sideline him easily. With Chelsea, you have your most expensive midfielder in Enzo Fernandez only playing because a less expensive midfielder is injured. Yeah. He's not really the best fit for the manager. He had to be on the bench for a long time. The manager is still trying to work out who am I going forward with. So there's been a lot of turmoil with that, where he's trying to go, because you've had a guy go out and sign 100 players under two different managers. And this guy now is here. He has to now get the best out of it. And there are guys, for example, that last season were playing. For example, you had Noni Madueke, who was playing last season. Now he has to go. So you have all this turmoil. That might be a bigger issue than the ability, because there are a lot of players in this Chelsea team that are better than some of the teams that you're mentioning. So if you look at the profile of, for example, Newcastle that you mentioned, or Bournemouth, or Brighton, like these teams, their players are not much older.
Yeah, but they have senior managers that understand.
What senior manager? Experience. What is the age of the Bournemouth manager? He's like 42. What's the age of? Now. Yeah, the Newcastle managers are 45. They're all young. Yeah. They might have.
Yeah, but my coach barely has 2 years experience. Like, I don't understand. I don't think you guys think my coach has 5 years experience.
Arteta has 4 years experience.
Arteta has 4 years experience. This guy won Champions League.
Arteta was assistant coach too
with 3 years experience.
Yeah, what are you complaining about?
So no, I'm complaining about the fact that like Arteta at least is chasing title. I know he has what it takes if he gets it.
Yeah, but this guy just came
at year 4.
Yeah, but your guy is in year 1.
Your guys in year 1, and he's in a very unstable environment. It's not what I'm trying to say is that this is young, inexperienced. No, there's too many fires this guy has to fix.
Boy,
this guy came into your club. The first
with 40 players.
The first thing he did was to tell the guys that what's it called? He told the owner, the mad owner, now what's his name? Todd Bowley, that he said in the press conference, sent a message to him that he's the one that decides who's going to play and not, and who's going. He had to say, because they were asking him who's in charge. That's the kind of fires this guy was fighting.
I understand. Sorry, the Bournemouth guy is 31.
No, hold on. Let me take this comment. Toby, there was one directed at you. He goes, Toby, off your mic. We're not talking about Manchester United. Sorry.
It's all United fans. Not my haters. All my haters. United fans. I'm there. After EJ, I'm number 2 hater. It's okay.
And then that was Akinola Adigun. Then Oga Kwame pointed out that Hozela is 31 years old. And then Akinola also says the same thing. Akinola says Idris, the Brighton coach, is a kid. It's not. Sometimes it's the environment more than the coach's age and the player's age. It's the same thing at Manchester United, because I know we're not talking about Manchester United, but dude, if you are fighting fires all the time, look at Slot. Slot just this league that they said is the hardest league in the world. Slot just walked in here and he wants to walk away with it.
Well, I don't think our manager is fighting fires, to be honest with you. I think there's been a lot of inexperience with the way he has had in-game management. And many of us who watch Chelsea week in, week out can actually see the problem. Because initially people are calling us Palmer FC, right? If Cole Palmer doesn't score, what's our situation? You feel me? And for us, there was so many, for me, watching Chelsea, there were so many mistakes that were made. That like, I've seen this before. This happened on the Lampard. We've seen this before when Porter came. It was just for me reinforcing the fact that like there's a lot of naivety going on right now that we're not even there. We stumbled our way to second, 5 straight wins for the first time in a very long time. Now we have gone 5 straight games, no wins. Do you get? And I'm not surprised about it. I'm just, it's annoying, it's frustrating. But I've seen the way they get rid of players, and you're talking about 40 players. No, the guy was working 25 players. I remember the first press conference. He kept coming and said, "You guys say we have 40 players. I'm only working 25."
No, he was working with 25, but he had 40. He had sideline.
Yeah, so whatever. He shows up to work.
Which manager?
He shows up to work. Yeah, he shows up to work and he sees 25. So whatever the company structure they are doing. It's like when HR is like, "Oh, let me talk to you for a second." You definitely know you're not going back to your floor. They put you somewhere.
So all those other players are in the main room now. They're working from the basement.
You know what I mean? So he doesn't see them. So he doesn't have that. I don't believe he has that toxicity. Though he admits that he also participates in having to treat Sterling, Chalobah, Chilwell, and those guys are utmost professionals. And that's where I'm like, okay, if I look at Chelsea at how much we spent, how our owners recruit, right? I'm like, I get it. You buy this new thing, but does it fit? But what's your goal for this? But we'll loan him out. Okay, no problem. Enzo Fernandez, my issue was we're not using him properly. There's something odd with the way we are using this guy because he's a baller, right?
Is he?
When he play, he's a baller. When we play open team,
I think he's one World Cup of hype.
Could
not
be.
a lot of data behind that.
Could be, but I've also seen how he's used.
Sorry.
I've also seen how he's used with enforcers around him, which allows him
the enforcer. Which enforcer? That's the job. It's a six.
Wait,
that guy.
Wait, hold on.
What's his position there?
Let me tell you why I agree with. Let me tell you why I agree with Toby. Hold on.
So he needs
enforcers around him. Is he a great passer? Is he a great controller of the midfield? That what exactly?
He's a good. So that's the problem.
Just so that he can throw long balls.
That's it.
And take shots.
Perlo from behind.
He's not a Perlo.
Literally,
that's
you guys.
He's more like a poor man's Jude Bellingham without the goals.
Oh my God!
And he's not suited for the EPL.
Chelsea's best format. No.
When that guy,
he's not.
You can see immediately Lavia and Casido were in the midfield.
Everything
as a matter of fact, your problem started when Lavia went out injured.
Yeah,
he won a couple of games. Right. He won a couple of games after he went out injured. Then you started going down because your midfield is solid when those two are there. And Fernandez is part of your problem, and his price tag is part of the problem because it's hanging around his head.
Let me throw small. Enzo is just the white version of Mainu.
Oh my God! I thought
he can't be a 6 by himself. Impossible.
He can't be.
Not physically able.
But
not physically able. Can't cover.
That is a fact. That's not even true.
That's the last one.
That's a fact.
Don't mention Manchester United again.
It's not trolling at this point because
he can't handle it. He's not physical.
And
Manu's a kid, so Manu can still do it.
Manu's a kid. Manu might actually reach.
But this guy is a grown-ass man.
And I'm not even trying to throw. I'm not trying to throw Enzo under the bus, right? The player. But that now brings me to the coach. Like these are things that everybody can see. Why are you playing him in this way? Why are you playing him this way with this?
Because the other option I think is Jorginho.
No, Jorginho
is with Arsenal.
God forbid.
Not Jorginho. What's his name? What's the name of the other midfielder? There's another midfielder you have.
We have
There are so many.
No, apart from Lavia, there's the other guy.
Casadei, some kid. Or
If I remember
Santos.
the name, I'll
Santos.
Santos? I believe it might be Santos.
See,
That
that's
kid
how
is
when you
in-
have 40 players, you forget their names.
You forgot-
No, that kid.
The player in Chelsea.
Santos is in. So here's the thing: we have players doing very well on loan, right? So people are asking the question. We can substitute. We can do this. We can do that. My issue here is let us use Chaluba.
Yeah, is that Casadei? Is the
Casadei, yeah. Beautiful player, by the way. But then again, the price tag might be the issue why Enzo isn't playing him. And Casadei played for him in the championship. So there's so many things about what our coach is doing now that you can just see the naivety with the situation, and you're just like, but you have the ingredients, guy. Why are you thinking it this way? And I don't want to bash that guy. That guy was not supposed to be a back. That guy is just
another.
Omari,
Now the other thing that happened too. You know when he came, he brought.
Where are all these players?
No,
Kani
when I
Kani's on
said
his way out.
Noni Madueke, it was Kani Chukwuemeka I wanted to mention.
Kani, yeah.
One of the goals
Kani's on his way out. So
he's one of the
Why is he on
outcasts.
his way out? Use him now.
No, they've got him out. He's in the basement now.
Yeah, they forced him out. The company has decided that Kani has to leave, and the guy said Kani is leaving. So there's so many things happening at Chelsea that, like, if you're not following day in, day out, you'll be like, oh no, they have quality players, but we don't have a balanced team.
By the way, your owners are still fighting, right?
Those ones are mad. I've left their body. Bro, we're talking. So now we're a toxic team. You see what I'm talking about? At the end of the day, I think the project is far ahead of where it should be. I honestly believe so. I think there's potential for us to, like, stabilize. We are luckily at the place where the owners can sell well and restock quickly. But we keep hearing them buying kits, and we're not interested in that crap anymore. Okay. I think we have players, and we have, again, I keep coming to the naivety of our coach. We have players, we have a new coach, we have new owners too that are trying to figure out how this game works. And it's not that I can just buy a player, bring it in, and it will just work if the whole system doesn't work. And that's why you see me talking about, like, reminiscing, going back to Silva. There are so many turnovers. Chelsea will have 2 goals up, 1 goal up, missed chance, like plethora of chances, useless misses. And then all of a sudden, in the last 5 games, we just find the team tying 1-1, 2-2, 3-2. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, there's been a lot of examples of this. Arsenal has showed us how this thing can play out, and they had to start going out and getting the likes of Partey, enforcers, and then they just stabilized. They weren't dropping off from 2nd to 6th. They just stabilized at that 2nd. No matter how they drop off, they still did that. We might make a run for the title. That's where Chelsea is right now. Chelsea needs to make a decision on if we're just going to be a Borussia Dortmund for the rest of our life, buying, selling stocks, or we are actually going to go for it at least near Arsenal small. That's literally where we are right now.
Unfortunately, we have about 5 to 10 minutes.
Sorry, I'm done with Chelsea.
I'm not. I was just trying to say something. Let me summarize quickly. I said this, right? In summary, what you're saying is that Chelsea doesn't have an identity. And I think the bigger problem with Chelsea and the lack of identity is more on the owners than the manager.
Yeah,
I think this manager deserves a chance.
I'm calling the manager out because the guy has done some fraud stuff that most of us
fair enough. But when a guy takes a team from, what did you guys? You guys were 12th, then you were 6th, and then he's taking.
Which one? This manager?
No, it was not him. But you were 6th last.
No, Pochettino got us to 6th. Then we fired him, and this manager is back at 6th.
Yeah, but if he takes you back to 6th. And
to me,
your bigger problem to me is that your owner.
If he takes us back to 6th, to me it's an improvement.
Okay.
If he takes us back to 6th, to me, to a few of my Chelsea fans, they think I'm crazy by using the word improvement. I think it's a massive improvement because we've gotten rid of certain players that were performers. Conor Gallagher, from Mason Mount, and these are guys that, like, if they were still in the team and in the system, I'm not saying they'll be playing better than where they were right now. They will have had enough stability and experience to be able to carry the load and keep it going. Our drop-off wouldn't be that erratic. We have very quality players.
Idris, your problem is that you need to get a director of football, and your owner should go and do an owner's job.
We have 2 director of footballs now. We have 2.
But your owner is still the director of football. He's the one that's still doing everything.
He's part of the. So no, we have 2 different owners. So it first year was the head boy was Todd Bowley 443. Then Todd Bowley's signings didn't work. Ed Bengali came in, and now we're on Ed Bengali's tenure right now, right?
So who's the director of football now?
Win Stanley or some idiot guy like that.
Look, you know what? We need a whole podcast to talk about Chelsea, because this is like, like you guys need a whole Netflix documentary on y'all, because
we do. It's a crazy club.
You're right, man. That's
really
a real
crazy.
toxic club.
It's a crazy club.
Let me take comments quickly. What's his name? Akinola says poor man's Jude Bellingham. You all are rude, but
very rude.
Akinola, you can't argue with that. I mean, like, that guy, if that guy could score, he would have been good, but he can't even score. And then Ogakwame says, Mr. Moderator, I don't know why you haven't shown this guy a red card. We say we're not talking about United. He keeps shooting straight. It's okay.
Worst team in history. Worst team in history. That's what Amorim said today. If it's me that said it, they'll come for me.
The Asha Sampong says, Idris, I remember I mentioned that Enzo Maresca doesn't know how to manage Palmer as a star being double marked. Palmer has a free role that no one else has.
No one else has. He's very right.
On the counter.
And you know, Asha mentioned it. Asha actually didn't mention it.
So what would you do?
But you see, that's on the coach. Because let me give you instances of what has happened in the last 8 games, right? Everybody was making fun of Sancho when he was in United. Sancho comes to Chelsea. He starts at Chelsea, can just show you need to get out of some toxic relationships. Very clear. Sancho's situation is just Sancho just like toxic.
Worst team in history.
Sancho comes to Chelsea, right, and produces. But what I mentioned the whole Sancho situation was Sancho's not playing freely as he does in Borussia Dortmund, right? When Sancho came in and Palmer was double teamed, everybody was like, Palmer FC. Sancho came into life and he was asked to do more. And we could now see Noni freeing himself. And there are many times you can see during the game, they don't pass to Palmer. They sideline Palmer, which means knowingly or unknowingly, he's taking 2 players out and there's more space to move the ball. He's not the outlet now for everything we have to do. But people were seeing it too. They're like, yo, if this boy is double team or we play a very low block, right? He becomes useless because the whole idea is he and a few other players can play tight spaces and unlock the game. But if the guy is not useful, he has gotten his first 15 minutes or 60 minutes in, get the boy off, use somebody else. Nkunku is a player that could do most of some of the things that he's doing. We've seen it in Borussia, we've seen it in Leipzig.
Idris, you don't like this manager. You know, just like,
it's not that.
Can you imagine subbing Salah or Arteta subbing Saka?
Bro, no.
He must be having an atrocious game for it. Like,
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Best player.
No, but the best player when he's useless. Like, bro, 60 minutes in.
Toby, can you hear this guy?
Palmer, 60 minutes
can you hear
in.
This guy?
Palmer. Wait. 60 minutes in. Ask any Chelsea fan. Asha can type again and enter. 60 minutes in, Palmer is playing against Chelsea. It's very obvious. Everybody can see it. And if you go and look at the amount of goals we've conceded, you would see on transition.
So will you sub the player at 16 minutes?
No, 60.
60. Oh, 60.
And he has already scored. He has already assisted at 60. But thank you for your contribution. Come and sit down. Either we are locking Mourinho from 15 minutes. Mourinho score 1 goal. Mourinho go lock shop. Now they're mad. I'm here to win.
But you know, if a manager does that and they concede a goal,
we are Chelsea. We don't understand.
To me,
we have no time for
I think you're being
Chelsea.
harsh.
We want to win.
Yeah, you're being
harsh.
You're
being harsh.
You know, just
honestly, I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I think you're being harsh. Given what
we are not being harsh.
Give him what
I'm
he
not
has to
saying.
give
I'm
him.
not saying. I'm not saying Maresca.
When you say you put the man on fraud watch now, he's in your title.
He's on fraud watch. He's on fraud watch because trust me. See Asha's already put Asha's comment again. Put Asha's comment, please. My brother is responding to me.
Let's go
Put
to
Asha's
Asha's
comment.
comment.
Asha says, yes, Sub Palmer. Go look at the stats against Liverpool, United, City, Tottenham. The first 60 minutes completely marked out.
Marked out.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, say, go look at Bruno Fernandez's stats against Liverpool, City,
that's
Tottenham,
where the
Arsenal.
in-game. But bro, that's where the
Most of
in-game.
these
That's
guys
okay.
struggle
That's
against the big teams because it's targeted.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it's like saying the
you
same thing about Haaland. Haaland, some big
How
games.
many
he
times has
doesn't
Haaland been
score.
invisible? No touches.
Yeah, but I subbing
Come on.
No,
him.
but we also But wait. I get where you guys are coming from, but this is where the coach's in-game management kicks in. Like it's not. It didn't happen one game. It didn't happen 2 games.
Wait,
We've seen it in
hold
6, 7.
on. Somebody's hold on. It says Soji said you people have never played on the same team as Idris. Now there you go see. Hey, now there you go see Ash. I'm beginning to get it. So in real life,
I'm
you're
a
like
changed
this.
man.
You're one of
Soji,
those
I
people that are
work-
very hard to please.
I'm a changed man, Soji. I assure you that I'm a very changed man.
I don't
Marriage
agree. I
has
don't
helped
believe
me.
you. Okay, guys, we have to move on because we have to end soon. So everybody gets a minute. 1 minute. Champions League is coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. 6 games.
Is United playing?
Games.
When's United playing?
So you made your point. You've used your 1 minute. You've used your 1
Wait, am I
minute.
discussing this with you guys? When is Chelsea playing? Am I discussing
You've
Champions
used your
League
1
with
minute.
United
Your 1
and
minute
Chelsea
is up.
fans?
Your 1 minute
When
is
is
up.
Chelsea playing? When is United playing?
It'd be like, when I hear Arsenal people talk recklessly about Europe.
Oh, God, man.
It's like that guy that just got new 6-figure job.
Hands up
Inside here.
if your team has big ears. Hands up if your team has big ears.
Big ears. These guys that have
Big ears,
never hold cup without ears. These guys never even hold cup without
does
ears.
the team
Now
have
they
big
talk
Are
of
you
like,
playing this week? If no, I don't know why I'm having a discussion with both of you.
carry on. Let's
make
talk
it
about
quick.
Champions League. Let's talk about Champions League. Let's talk about Champions League.
Okay, since you're in the Champions League, which game are you
Aspiring
looking
winners.
forward
So be
to?
carry the floor. Aspiring winners. Let's see.
Aspiring winner, please tell us.
Tell us. We are hearing.
Which game are you looking forward to this week?
Bridesmaid. So what are you guys doing this
I
year?
think-
What are you doing for the wedding this year?
Wait first now. Atletico plays Leverkusen on Tuesday. I think that's a good one. That will be a fun game to watch. Barcelona, Benfica. I mean, Barcelona is doing well in the Champions League. I think they rest players. Now, Aston Villa is decent. They have to win. Liverpool plays LOSC in France. I think Liverpool rest players because they've already qualified top 8, and I think they can get a draw on Tuesday. Plus, their B team should be able to beat what's this LOSC team name again? That's the one. That's not Brest? Is that Brest?
LOS,
No.
is that not Lille?
That's Lille. Yeah.
That's Lille. Okay. I think
so.
LOC.
LOSC is Lille.
Yeah, it's Lille.
Let's see.
It's Lille.
Yeah, it's Lille.
Lille.
So
They're a
I
good
mean,
team. They're 8. They're in the top 8. They'll be going all out for it.
yeah, but I think Liverpool will have too much for them. Like, I don't know if Liverpool will. I mean, Arsenal plays. We have an easier game on paper against Zagreb on Wednesday, right?
That's how you know people don't even want to believe in their team. See,
You
it's
make
like game
a
on paper.
very big mistake. We fans
Person that
always
was
make.
screaming Champions
Lille?
League is a very good.
Lille have only lost one Champions League game this season, and I think it was the game where they had a red card.
Yeah, but my point is Liverpool does not need. Liverpool has already qualified top. If I'm Liverpool and I've already qualified top 8, I don't need to win, so I can rest players. I'm not saying through the game. I can, if Salah needs a rest, I can start him on the bench. I can rest some key players and manage the game because I don't have to win it to finish top 8. So you got to manage your squad. Now, if they're fit and everyone can play and they want to play, that's fine. Like, I mean, we're playing. Who do we play? We play Zagreb. Yeah, we play Zagreb, and they're close to bottom if I can find the table. So the question is, can we rest players? Yeah, Zagreb is where they're 24th.
Actually, no, Zagreb is 24th. They're still within that.
So they're going to come really hard, but
yeah,
but they need the points. So we'll see, right? I think we rest some players that are in the red zone and we manage the game. But also, we don't have to win the game, but we can't lose it. Because if we win this game, then we're more or less good for top 8. You can rest the next game.
No,
So
if
it
you
all
win,
depends on
you're good for the top 8.
for the
What
top 8,
about
right?
you?
We'll avoid the
Yeah.
qualifying game. Yeah.
What about you, Idris? Who are you looking forward to?
Games I'm looking forward to in the Champions
Yeah.
League, in all fairness, is the survival guys. Atalanta, because we have our AFCON Player of the Year. I'd like to see them make it in there. Who else am I looking at? I'm looking at City though, and Juventus, because it's kind of an
And
interesting
PSG.
Atletico Madrid. Yeah. Like
Yeah, PSG.
yes, but PSG is not.
PSG
Aren't they
will
like?
qualify.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not going to qualify.
That last game is the game they really needed. So I'm not expecting PSG to do much. And even though with the way they're about to flip players from their club, they're looking like they're already planning for next season. I'm not seeing PSG go for anything for Champions League.
they're 25th. They're just 1 point out of the next qualifiers.
Yeah, I'm looking at that game very closely.
How many
That's
more
the big
games?
game for me?
How
Two
many
more
more
games.
games?
But
Two more games.
if
It's
gonna be
PSG
hard.
beats City, PSG overtakes City. And if teams under City win, City actually drops out of automatic qualification.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm looking at City. I'm looking at the guys that have. They need to qualify, and the game is still within their hands. So I'm honestly not looking at. Yeah,
I'm looking at PSG.
It's not PSG sound. So if everybody did, I just mentioned one. PSG is not seeing anything.
No, but if PSG beats City, they overtake
If they beat
City.
City,
They kind of take their place. Even if all the teams above them win, they take over because they are just under
Fair
it.
enough.
They're just the team right on 25th, one spot behind it. So if PSG win, they go above City because they go from 7 points, I think they have, to 10, and I think City has 8 points or 9 points. Let me check. City has 8 points. Then the other game I'm watching is Real Madrid Salzburg.
I was
Real
about to
Madrid
mention
do
that.
not win, Ancelotti might be leaving this January.
There's no way they don't beat
summer.
Salzburg.
That's what we said. That's what we said when they wasn't it Lille that beat them. I believe Lille beat them, right? Or Lille.
Yeah, but
Ancelotti is not getting fired. He will finish the season as an elder statesman. He's not getting fired from that club.
Then Real Madrid has changed.
Like, no, but Perez has been humbled. Do you understand that? Like, there are only two managers that's put up with the shit and they've delivered. Ancelotti and Zidane. He's not rocking the boat. He's really not rocking that boat. So
we'll see. Those are the games, but it's going to be an interesting week. I will leave Champions League with one comment as a warning to all Arsenal fans. So this says it's easier game in quote. Or more make Arsenal.
When is United playing?
Lose that game.
When is United playing?
We're playing on Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. Who are you playing? Oh, sorry. Do we discuss Europa here? Or are you conference? Which one are you?
Yeah.
Oh, one Europa, one conference. This pod is not balanced. We need a different pod to discuss Champions League.
No, I'm not saying because this is a pod. It cannot be balanced because you don't have your mates Tottenham on this pod. Where's
the mute? Okay, finally.
You shouldn't even go far. You said this pod is not balanced. He needs his mates that have not won anything like Tottenham that are here argue with him. West Ham self has won.
I need people who are actually fighting to win stuff to be discussing with. Not those who are giving up on their season.
No problem. It's your time. Enjoy it. Does anybody have any kudos and donkeys this week?
Kudos and donkey. Not really.
Nana. What's my name? Oh, Nana.
Is that your donkey or your kudos?
What's my name? Oh, for me, it's kudos now. I can't even ask me if it's donkey. Kudos coming now.
Top notch banter, man. Top notch banter. He says kudos for me.
That's my kudos of the week.
Bro said
my kudos
for me.
My kudos of the week. My kudos of the week goes to Ahmad, first Premier League defender to score a hat trick. First Premier League defender to start.
The boy is too good for that United.
Yeah, he started as right wing back and scored a hat trick. So that's. So
I'm saying everybody in front of him is just pipe.
And then everybody's saying donkey. Akinola says donkey or Nana.
That's my kudos.
Soji says donkeys or Nana.
No, that's kudos.
I mean, it's a universal donkey. Onana is a donkey, but I think the entire Manchester United team is full of donkeys. The whole team is just full of donkeys. You know, the less we say about them, the better. But to also be felt, Southampton should also be donkeys of the week.
Yeah, useless.
Not because of the loss at Old Trafford, but technically, these guys are on pace to break the record of the worst team in Premier League history. If they continue the way they're going to win the least points ever in Premier League history. And
Damn.
I don't know what's up with that team, but I mean, they should continue and just make sure at the end of the season that let us have Tyler Diblin for 20 million.
Did they just get a new coach, or is it the same coach that
They got a new coach.
Yeah, new coach.
They got a new coach. They got a new coach, and they've not. I think they won one game. They fired the other coach, got a new coach. I think they waited too long. Soji says the worst part of the Onana thing is that I hate seeing black goalkeepers get shit on. But Onana is not helping himself. Man, it's not my job to protect anybody. If your life be black, be white.
This guy said, I'm not loyal to idiots. Guy said,
I'm not, come on, man. Like, what?
You're not a member of NAACP.
No. I'm a member of the NAACP, but I don't go and protest for idiots.
This guy said I have my
Don't
limits.
put the black card when you were playing chicken on the freeway. I'm sorry. It's not my business. So they can shit on him all I want. It's his fault. I mean, like, the same people shitting on him are praising Ahmad, so it's well balanced. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm enjoying seeing black kids step up in the Premier League since he brought that up. Ahmad, Saka, what's his name? The kid, the Southampton kid, Sulemana. There's so many, I can't remember all their names. There's so many African kids now in the Premier League, and they're all looking good. And let's be that time where you have that customary one black player across 2 or 3 Premier League teams. Now it's a black game. So they can shit on him because it's becoming, well, like the NFL now. We're slowly becoming like the NFL. It's becoming a black
free for all right now. Everybody go for it.
Very soon it's going to be dominated by Africans or black South Americans. So please.
Don't worry. DEI be about just like English coaches now that they're talking about DEI.
No, it's not DEI. It's not DEI when.
Oh, you miss the part.
When it's called there. What do you call it?
English coaches. English coaches. They are complaining. We don't have enough English coaches outside.
No, that's not DEI. That's a quota system.
It's a quota system.
Yes, DEI is only for when black people and Asian people and Hispanic people are brought in. When white people, when they tweak the system to promote white people and bring them in, it's just a quota system. You know,
my God, my bad.
Say it right. If you get what I'm saying. You know, like the guy going into the White House. Suddenly everybody in America is white, so only white people have been appointed, and it's not DEI. It's
it's a quota.
It's a quota system,
Don't worry, your 51st state here is telling you guys you're not interested. We're not enjoying ourselves for that stuff.
Please, they should hurry up and make it 51st state so that I can move to Canada.
You guys are not okay. We don't need
without visa and having to apply for. Just because I do have free healthcare, free. So, but man, what I'm paying for my health insurance is too much. The way it's going now, man. Very soon we'll start paying. What we'll be paying for? What do you call it? Homeowners insurance and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, it's better you just go and rent because, man, this natural disasters in America are getting out of hand. So. Thanks for even reminding me about that. My heart goes out to the people in California. It's very hard to watch. It's tough.
Yeah. I feel bad. Are we sure we don't want to discuss Conference League and Europa League briefly? Or you guys are good?
Man, wait.
My guy, you're not in that league. You're not in the league that you're asking for. Stay in Champions League. We gave you the Champions League. All we ask is
Toby. I'll be hosting. The Arsenal get knocked out of Champions League. I'll be hosting that podcast.
How come?
And you'll be the guest.
He said you'll be the. No, in fact, he he should be hosting the day Arsenal is out of the Champions League, which is coming, by the way.
When
It's
are
just
you
a matter
out of the
time.
Conference League and out of the Europa? Better.
Oh, don't worry. We have all the.
We're just-
Why do you get a pass? The
We
third,
don't get a
the third
pass.
worst competition. You better win it.
Which we might actually. I think
You
that's
should.
the
Chelsea
chest.
will most. I
It's-
mean,
it's-
Chelsea
it's-
have
it's
Chelsea
the
are
last
balling that.
Thanos ring.
They're balling that competition now with the
Yes,
academy.
that's their level.
Yeah. It's okay.
Oh my God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, we've been here for a long time. EJ is gonna kill me with the editing, but it was fun. It was good to have you guys again. Everyone have a good week. If you're not Manchester United, I'm not wishing your team well. But this time next Sunday, we'll be trolling your team by God's grace. And please, Manchester United, win. God have mercy. This is getting too much. This is getting too much. So, Toby, thank you. Idris, thank you. Soji, Asha, Kinola,
Anytime.
Ogakwame, Ebuka, Okechukwu, and Ayon, and all the people that have viewed. I appreciate you all. See you all next Sunday. Have a good week. Bye.
All right, bye, guys.
Thank you, gents. Bye.
You're watching Footy Fantasy. It is sure say the thing will beat your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. You're watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. It is sure say the thing will meet your football needs. Banter from rivalries.